Yo, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? Good to see you again, and we want to have a discussion today about, are online regionals, online treasure cups a problem for the One Piece card game? And if so, are there some solutions, maybe steps that can be taken to resolve some of these issues, or is it just a big problem? Yeah, let's hop into it. Alright, so the basis of why this video is being made today is because we did have, a couple of clips coming up that were moments of players blatantly cheating, and it is just not okay, and this is obviously a problem no matter what card game you play, realistically, online, is that, players can try and take advantage of this. Now, it is worth noting that stuff like this can also just happen at offline events, in person. It's not strictly just online, but it does kind of make it a little bit harder to deal with since it's online and the restrictions of webcams and stuff like that. But this is the clip in contention, and or one of them, I should say. We'll go over a few, but this one, just to give some background context, Yamato is attacking this Gecko Moria player for 16,000. They just used, I believe, 2 Amarus and then attached 5 Dawn to their leader, so swinging for 16k into Gecko Moria. Moria does have 7 cards in hand, so they have to get to, I believe, 12k counter, so to get up to 17,000 in order to get out of this attack. So you have to have 12k counter in hand. This is very important. If you look at the trash, the top of their trash is Hina, okay? And now playing into the clip, you'll see he says, I counter, and drops his entire hand without showing his opponent anything into his trash. I counter the attack, just drops his entire hand into the trash. I mean, first off, that's wild, dude. Like, that is wild that you even think that's okay, right? That's insane. But the nefarious part is really what comes afterwards, okay? So picks up his entire trash to show what he countered with, and now yet again needs to get to 17k, has to have 12k counter. 1, 2, right? Helmeppo, Absalom, brand new, which is 3. 4, 5 for Tashigi, right? 6, 7 for Sindri. 8, 9 for Perona. 10, I don't know where 10 came from. And then it would be up to 11k. He's got 11k counter with Suru. 12. Oh, that's interesting. And then you can see the Hina right below the Suru. So that's how much he had, but he made it look misleading by putting it into his trash and then counting it out. This is just unacceptable. Obviously, you call a judge in this position and in this case, but I mean, that's crazy, right? Now, granted, in the grand scheme of things, it does seem like most players have an enjoyable experience through, like perfectly played matches and, overall just fine games, right? However, the webcam experience can be a little bad because of, stuff like lighting problems, how much the webcam is showing, whether they have their phone recording and it's on vertical. I've experienced that far too many times. Very interesting, but these are just topics that I kind of wanted to bring over, but this was the main video in contention. So, yeah, this was online this past weekend, I believe, and this is, obviously, like a form of cheating that this guy was trying to get one over on his opponent, and this should not be allowed at all. But from this clip, I do want to talk about a few maybe main points, one of which being repercussions. What should happen to a player if they just perform the same action as that guy, right? Or if they perform the Gum Gum Jet Pistol.
What's in your trash, bro? Yep, I got a Robin, Red Hawk. How many cards you got in your hand?
And sorry, that video always kind of makes me laugh. And what should happen what should happen to these players? You know, should this be an indefinite ban? Should this be a temporary ban? Should there be, you know, like obviously there's some form of standard in place, but it does feel as though we've seen, at least to my knowledge, I've seen more ban list placements for maybe like personal interactions, like bad sportsmanship, hateful words, hate speech, and you know, like more like social interactions. Whereas, you know, obviously I do think that those don't have any place whatsoever in this card game, so we should be banning people that do that. But, you know, are we not banning the people that are actually trying to cheat? And that would, I would almost say, like, quote unquote steal sort of prizing from other players, because at the end of the day, if you are cheating your way to the top, then you're cheating someone else and stealing prizing from them that could have potentially got there honorably. So it's you know, it's one of those things that, you know, what kind of repercussions should come to this? Is it like indefinite, temporary? Are they you know, potentially banned from future online tournaments and maybe allowed to go to offline? You know, honestly, I don't think there should be any place for people like this. I'm gonna try and not to include my opinions too much in this. This is more of just a discussion piece to, you know, ask what y'all's opinions are, or what you think could be done better, and then we can kind of have like a community hub in the comments about this. But I personally don't think these, you know, I don't think people that cheat should be here regardless. But now with you know, with that being said, and with that in mind, we should have, you know, very strict repercussions for players that, you know, perform actions like this and try and take advantage of game states or, you know, card interactions or stuff like that. What should the repercussions be for, let's say, somebody that makes maybe an honest mistake? Now, before I start this clip, I don't want this to be misconstrued as me saying that the Reiju player made an honest mistake. I'm saying that it could have been. I have played Reiju the past few weeks. I've made this mistake multiple times. Now, granted, this is the like top 32 of a 1,000 player tournament. This is not online, so I'm just using this example as, you know, part of this repercussions discussion, and pun intended. But yeah, basically the Reiju player has 7 cards in hand right here. There is a way to do the exact play that would work within the rules of the game correctly for the Reiju player, but he does the sequencing incorrectly. Now, I'm not going to give too much of my own personal opinion, but looking at this, it doesn't seem like it was done nefariously, because this is something that could be done correctly with just different sequencing. It just, unfortunately, at this level, at this top level, top table right here, this should have been incorrect, and maybe been corrected in the situation.
I'm afraid another...
Oh, let me mute that. So what happens is Reiju plays the 3-cost Niji and brings out the 5-cost here to bounce back the Nekomamushi. Nekomamushi is going to be put back into Yamato's hand because he's at less dawn. That's fine. We're all dandy. Sounds great. The tough part is, though, is that Reiju is forced to draw a card here. He should have drawn a card because now he's at, I believe, six cards in hand, so should go back up to 7. Unfortunately, though, didn't draw a card and then plays Reiju out. So now at 5 cards in hand is able to bring out the 4-cost Reiju and then draw 3. So here's the deal with that, right? You get to draw 3 with Reiju. Sure, you know, like, it was not done correctly because he should have drawn for the Niji play first. But had you just sequenced it 3-cost, 2-cost, like play both out, 3-cost and 2-cost at the same time, it leaves you with 5 in hand. You use Reiju effect first, right? You get to draw 3, and then you use Niji effect to bounce back the card. Everything works. It's totally fine. It just wasn't done correctly in sequence. And that's a mistake. He made a mistake that honestly probably should have put him in a pretty tough spot in this game. So, you know, and that's something that you can't be making that mistake at this point and expect maybe not to be punished for it. So, you know, what are the ideas here? Do we punish people that also maybe make a misplay like this equally, or is it maybe no punishment, or is it, you know, like what are your ideas here? Because I do think that this is where navigating this space gets a little tricky. Now, granted, this guy could have been just pulling one over on Yamato and meant to do all of this intentionally. Who knows? I don't think so, though, because like I said, it could just be sequenced correctly and he would have been able to draw properly. But like, do we punish some of these mistakes the same as maybe blatant cheating, or is it you know, like, yeah, like how do we balance that? And this is kind of why in this, you know, in this discussion, are online regionals and webcam tournaments a problem? Because even this is happening in an offline event. Not only did the 2 players miss it, but the judge watching the match missed this misplay. I even believe, and by the way, I'm not trying to criticize anybody here. I'm just saying that, like, we're all human. Mistakes happen. We all make mistakes. We miss stuff like this. I don't even believe the commentators caught it, right? And I watched this match live, and I don't even think I caught it. I ended up seeing the Twitter post from Cross AI, and I was like, oh, wow, I didn't even notice that during the match. It's something so simple that could have been potentially game-changing because it was a pretty bad mistake to be making at that point in the game. So I don't know. It's worth mentioning that, yeah, a lot of people miss that. A lot of people miss that. And for that to be the case, you know, is it something that is maybe worth punishing too much? Or is this maybe something that you go, okay, you know, like, that's fair. It's a fair, like, mistake, but we have to do better about, you know, playing correctly. I don't know. Yeah, but it is also worth mentioning, you know, maybe what is the role of the judge here? Should there be a better way for judges to, you know, maybe not miss some of these mistakes? Would it be slowing down play, allowing more time, you know, for the players to, you know, play through some of the interactions, but maybe at a slower pace? Like, I'm just throwing stuff out here. I'm not saying these are solutions. I'm just, you know, it's one of those things that if 5 people miss this, you know, where do we correct that issue potentially? You know, if this is happening offline, you know, then obviously it's going to happen online. And with a lot of the webcam problems that I've seen, you know, people having, you know, the morning sun and like God shining down his aura onto their playmat and all of their cards to where I can't see a single thing that's already enough for me to go, oh my God, what do I do? Like, I can't even see their cards. From people playing at the McDonald's Wi-Fi, you know, out in their car, you know, having all the stuttering in the world. Like, a lot of these are tough for me to kind of articulate, like, what is the solution here? And I know that personally speaking, I think that webcam tournaments are a net positive in my opinion. I think that just having the ability to play in some of these regionals and treasure cups without having to fly out to the West Coast or, you know, the southern part of the country, for me is very, very nice. I don't have to, you know, spend hundreds of, if not potentially $1,000 on a trip just to go and, you know, compete. So I do enjoy the fact that we have these, but there has to be some form of solution. And I feel like one of the biggest ones that a lot of people have mentioned is an online client. If we had an official Bandai sanctioned online client, then, you know, that kind of alleviates all the issues. And I will say, though, as much as I would love for an official client, like, I'm so happy and pleased with the online simulator that Batsu and company have designed for us and made, you know, so that we can compete, you know, at a maybe even like at the ranked server, or just compete casually, test out decks. This helps out so much of the community. So I really like that aspect. But, you know, with maybe situations like this, I believe that an online client does really, you know, resolve all of the issues that a lot of people have been having. There was also discussion of maybe changing, changes to pricing so that players are, you know, players are maybe not online competing for as maybe sought after pricing as the offline events, but you know, that's a discussion that's kind of up in the air. Yeah, there's been just a lot of buzz around this particular issue as a whole, and I completely understand why some people are frustrated and want online website or online tournaments to just be scrapped as a whole. It's like, hey, I'm tired of going into events and realizing by my round 7 that the guy that played me in round 3, after I'm looking back through my recording, ended up getting one over on me and cheated his way to victory. You know, that doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel great at all. But you know, it happens in person as well, so you do got to be mindful of that. But then I also understand a lot of the people that are coming from the side of, I like online tournaments. I don't have maybe the money or resources to go to all the offline tournaments. I might have, like, you know, potential issues that are stopping me from even being able to travel, right? So like, I think that online helps out a lot of people. I think it's a net positive, but obviously we do have issues. So what are the solutions? Let me know your thoughts, guys. I'd love to hear it, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. All right, peace.